firm. Windows Vista introduced a new Windows Arrow interface, which basically gives you the ability to have transparent windows. It lets you see through the windows. Sadly, my VirtualBox doesn't come with that. Windows Vista did introduce a Windows Arrow interface, which improved, like, it makes sense because Windows is the name of the company, and if you add the Windows Arrow interface, you can see through things. So, get it? Windows, you can see through things. It also introduced the new Windows Explorer interface, which it's a lot simpler because in Windows XP, you don't get this bar up here, it tells you where you are. In Windows XP, it doesn't really show that. And also, you can organize stuff in a better way. It's just a lot better. The interface is a lot better. You can manage things a lot simpler in the Windows Explorer, unlike Windows XP. But that's a cool thing to notice. In Windows Vista, they introduced gadgets, and what these gadgets basically do is in the side, you can move this around in your desktop, by the way. So what these basically do is they can show you information on the side, and basically these can show you data. Now, if you want to add more gadgets, you can go here and it can show you, some new things. Honestly, I don't really think this is kind of useful because you got like a clock over here. You can go into the weather. You have your phone. I mean, unless you don't have a phone, you can look at the weather. Now, as you guys can tell, there's no service available. Now, the reason for that is because Microsoft discontinued the website for getting more Windows gadgets. So, if I add another one and if I push get more gadgets online, well, this browser is out of date, so that's going to be the next thing we're going to be talking about. These Windows gadgets can basically show you new things. You can add more over here if you push and hold the mouse. You can also move them around on your desktop, and they also introduced a sidebar. Now, what this sidebar basically does is you can store your gadgets in here, which is a pretty cool feature. But in Windows 7, they removed the sidebar, and then Windows 8, they removed everything. So it's kind of sad to see because I thought this was a really cool feature. But yeah, they introduced Windows gadgets, and this is pretty much the only place where you can find Windows gadgets or Windows sidebar. And you can find Windows gadgets in Windows 7 and Windows Vista. But sidebar is only exclusive to Windows Vista. Windows Vista comes with Internet Explorer 7, which I am going to be honest, that's a horrible browser, okay? So I think you can update this to Explorer 9 or 10. I'm pretty sure you can upload this to Internet Explorer 9 or 10. But it did include Internet Explorer 7. Now, one reason Internet Explorer 7 is horrible is because it takes up so much space. This bar over here, you really don't need it. And unlike Chrome here, let me just download Chrome. This computer will no longer receive Google Chrome updates because Windows XP and Vista are no longer okay. And also, since Windows Vista is not used by that much anymore, you can still download Chrome, but you can't get updates. That's what I could say. You can't get updates, and there's a limit to the version you can get, and it's also not even letting me get Chrome. Come on, man, Windows Vista is so bad. So it looks like you can't even get Chrome, which is really, really sad. So it comes with IE 7. You can update to either 9 or 10. Probably even 11, I'm not even sure. I don't do my research on this stuff. User account control. Okay, let's talk about why Windows Vista was the worst operating system ever released by Microsoft. They introduced something called user account control. But the problem with that is user account control gives you a bunch of pop-ups. And they always tell you to, do you want permission to do this? Do you want permission to breathe? Do you want permission to enter your passcode? It always tells you to enter something, or you need permission from an administrator, and it's really annoying. So a lot of people put it off. That's like one reason Windows Vista was really bad. Another reason it was really bad is if you look at the process of Windows Vista, it took a really long time, okay? Codename Longhorn, which is the codename of Windows Vista, it was in process, and there were a lot of beta builds, and people didn't even know where Windows Longhorn was even going. So they had to, it was really buggy too, so they had to scrap everything and they had to restart in the middle of the process. So this was released in 2009. It took them only 2 years to release this OS. So they rushed to the market. They didn't focus on how stable it was. They didn't really test that much. So that's why it's just not really stable, okay? That's all I'm saying. It's not so stable, and they didn't test it that much. So because Codename Longhorn was really buggy and people didn't even know where it was going, that's why Windows Vista is so bad. They also revamped the Windows Start menu. So what they changed is this all programs thing. It used to bring up like a bar over here in Windows XP. It used to bring up a bar that showed you like everything in one place. But with this, you can it like lets you scroll in the all programs section. If you push all programs, you can scroll through it, which is a better way to organize and where you are. You can search in this place. I honestly think this was a good upgrade. It made the start menu a lot simpler. It also introduced this stuff. It has the lock this computer, close all programs, shut down Windows, and turn off your computer. Switch user, log off, lock, restart. I have to say, this was a good OS that introduced new stuff. I can say, Windows Vista introduced new things. Windows 7 tried to make Windows Vista stable. Now, I don't know why they couldn't have done this in Windows Vista. Probably because people still thought it was a horrible game. But it also came with games. This stuff, I don't know if they had it in Windows XP. This Inkball game, this did not come with Windows 7 at all. So basically this game you can play around with it. Your goal is to try to put the ball in here. And you have to draw these lines. You have to draw these lines so you can bump into each other. It was a pretty cool game. I really liked this game. This was one of my favorite games in Windows. Oh gosh. But let's X that out. It also came with these other games. I don't know if they had this in Windows XP. I don't even know if they had games at all, but they did have a couple of new games. So that's basically the overview of this operating system. Now, should you get this operating system? I'm gonna say no. Don't get this operating system, okay? I'm not saying it because of graphical issues or performance or user account control. It's none of that. But the only reason is because on April something, on the 2 digits, April something or 14th, I don't even know, Windows Vista security updates is gone. Windows Vista is gone, seriously. The support by Microsoft is over by April. It's gonna be done. Windows Vista is done by April. So that's the only reason I'm telling you not to get Vista. It is really I don't recommend you getting this operating system at 2016. If you got it in 2009, that's reasonable. But don't get this operating system don't get this operating system in 2016 or 2017 in January, because that is I don't understand but pretty much the only reason I don't want to get this operating system is because the security updates is ending in 2017 in April. So I would rather go with Windows 7, and besides it's a lot more stable than Windows Vista, and it's a lot more smoother than Windows Vista, etc. So that's basically my overview of Windows Vista. If you guys did enjoy this video, hit the like button down below. Let's wish Windows Vista happy birthday, and I will see you next time. Galaxy Jet Zo is out.